Alright, time to check out Sons of Saturn. Well, this is a lovely start, isn't it? What a happy beginning. Is that episode of Criminal Minds where the serial killer makes people into puppets and, like, breaks their limbs and, like, attacks strings, like, in between, like, the bone on their joints and shit? It's really fucked. It makes me think of this. The sleep is restless and unending. Your mind is tossed about in a shallow tidal pool, slamming against barnacles and corals. Every sliver of exposed tissue is being pecked at by crabs and crocodiles. You must escape this sleep. What the fuck is this face? Free yourself from this paralysis. No more free falls, no more jolts of denial. Wake up. The audience is getting antsy. Not taking the bait, huh? I'll provide a small dose of external incentivization. Let's turn on the lights. Alright, we gotta choose. Raise our head and face reality, or keep sulking in the moist, comfortable puddle you've carved out for yourself. We'll raise our head. That's the spirit. Rip off the band-aid quickly. Stop letting those pests peck at you from the shadows, and see your life for what it really is. There you go. No more running away. Are we the person on the stage? Shit. Are we? I think so. Our shirt matches. The lights, they hurt, but in a weirdly satisfying way. The lights are cleansing you. Like a hungry dog biting off a drunkard's sugar-laden diabetic toes. Jesus! Sure it stings, but we're better off for it. Wait, I have toes? That means I have fingers too, right? Arms and legs, even. I'm starting to feel the toes. You've got it all, baby. You're a human being with all the deluxe features. 160 centimeters, 60 kilograms, 26 years old, female, and inexplicably muscular. The angles that frame your face are beautiful, sharp and hard. They cut. Oh my god. Whatever, as long as I can beat the shit out of people with my face, even. Hazy memories return to you. You feel your ex punching you in the jaw. Her knuckles catch your right canine, deeply gashing her index finger. She's too embarrassed to seek treatment, and the joint grows deeply infected. She is spared amputation, but the infection consumes all the nerves past the first link. She will never use the outermost 2/3 of her index finger again. What is this? You, on the other hand, are so drunk the blow bounces right off. Someone I dated nearly lost a finger after punching me? What kind of fucked up life have I been living? A small, fragile life, adorned with hang-ups and resentment. Why don't you like me? Me? Oh my god, what the fuck is it? I love you, and I need you, and you need me. Alright, I've got a pretty good handle on my body shape and social identity, so what's up with this theater? Where am I? Oh. Hell. Just kidding, you're not really in hell. You're not really in a theater either, though. You're actually taking a nap in a wastewater tunnel. Flat on your back, right below an open maintenance access shaft. If your eyes were open right now, this is what they would see. Why am I in a sewer? Why am I taking a nap then? You're in a sewer because it's the only way to reach your goal, Minerva. The underground city you were born in, the ruin you fled from. You're taking a nap in the sewer because you're exhausted and you've gotten a bit ahead of your guide, the ferryman. He was really dragging his feet. Why can't we take a train in from the surface? That's how we escape. The trestles for most of the train lines were imploded before the evacuation was even complete. None of those lines will take you to Minerva anymore. You can't even walk them on foot. Several other portals and passages used to exist, but they are now heavily guarded. Only a select few personnel are through. Thankfully, the wastewater and ventilation systems were far too intricate to fully seal. Hundreds of outfalls still exist, if only minimally secured. So sewer it is then. Alright, I knew I had to come back here sooner or later. You can't ignore splinters. We have to dig it out. That's right, I had to find out what happened to my mum. What the fuck is this? Mother? You mean the woman you left behind in your escape? Hopefully she doesn't hold that against you. Somehow I kinda doubt she's holding anything anymore. You mean other than the strings floating above you? The knots that lead you back here? In any case, I feel we've established the basics. You're a healthy human being just slightly past its prime, but with all digits included. Your purpose right now is finding out what happened to your mum after you ran away and left her behind. Any questions? I have a few questions about the potato tumor I've been conversing with these last few minutes. Me? My name is Jasper. I'm the vintage plush cat toy you've been hiding in your shirt pocket for the last 2 decades. Did you forget me? Don't you remember? I didn't forget you. You're foundational. You're buried too deep. I could never forget you either, Amelia. Emily? How the fuck do you say that? Amelie? It's just us then, huh? Here together? For the most part, though I suppose our ferryman guide warrants mentioning. Okay. We hired him through a broker to help us navigate this place. But don't worry, he won't become between us. Not you and me. So it's me, a snarky antique doll, and a troglodyte we bribed to show us around. Got it. Pretty crack team, right? Though it's a bit of a dead weight on it. I think the troglodyte and the doll have got most of this covered. Don't you think it's time you woke up? Yes, please, get me out of here. I've got tunnels to crawl through and expectations to fall short of. Alright, let's keep in mind not all your parts are going to wake up at once. Your eyes might wake up before your arms and legs do. You know how this goes, just try not to panic. Let's get this over with. You find yourself flat on your back, staring up at an access tube that leads to the ground above. Muscle control hasn't yet returned to most of your body, but you manage to break the crusty seal incarcerating your eyes. The light pours into your irises as it's concentrated by a funnel. This is the first time you've seen light in nearly 6 hours. You thought the light would be soothing, freeing to soak in, but it's not. Instead, you feel like a man on a life raft dying of thirst. As you lay flat, drops of water occasionally miss your forehead. It feels like water torture. How much longer do we have left? Until the ferryman catches up to us? We weren't that far ahead of him, but he did seem pretty out of breath. Or until we reach the end of the sewer and finally find a way to the infirmary? I don't know either, but probably not too long. I just need to get in, find out what happened to Mum, and get out. It'll be a breeze. Yeah, pretty sure the situation won't get any more complicated than that. These tunnels will take you straight to the infirmary, right at the edge of the underground city. You'll pop out an indoor manhole cover, find a nicely formatted document explaining what happened to your mum on a desk nearby, then escape the same way you got in. You sound facetious, vintage plush toy that's talking to me. You're right, I am being facetious. This won't be so simple. We don't know where your mum is. We don't know where your mum was the day things collapsed. We're not even sure where to start looking. That's why we had to hire the ferryman. Speaking of what, what's that noise? Is, everything alright, miss? I feel fine. What took you so long? Apologies for falling behind. I'm not as fit as I was when I first became a ferryman. I couldn't keep up with someone as, athletic as yourself. Also, I knew it would be fine if you got a bit ahead. The maze is behind us. It's a straight shot from here to the infirmary. Alright, let's get going. Yes, let's. The water levels will rise before too long. Usually pretty high by midday. You rise to your feet a little too quickly, allowing black dots to colonize your visual field. The words of your ferryman guide echo down the train as light from his red headlamp stains the walls. The entrance to the Administrative Ward is just up ahead. Follow me. Let's get going. The ferryman nods his head sharply in agreement. It's time to get a move on. Are ready to get this show started? Yes. Finally, past grief and anger, acceptance has arrived. We're going with the flow now. The ferryman does a quick turn and begins to slip further down the cabin. Reluctantly, mechanically, senselessly, you begin to follow. Oh, shit, it's like a first-person dungeon crawler? Oh, look at the map and everything. You look up to your ferryman guy, quickly ascending the cistern ladder. At the top is a small hatch. The hatch has a small aperture cut on the left side, allowing the pale fire of light to pour through. You hear the faint sound of metal grating against metal. He's opening the lock, securing the hatch at the top. His voice reverberates as it echoes down the cylinder. As soon as I open the hatch, you'll need to clamber up the ladder as quickly as possible. I won't be able to keep it open for long. Ready? Alright. The words come out of you as if you're directed by a puppeteer. Your ferryman guide opens the hatch and climbs through. You quickly follow, pulling yourself through the portal at the top. Careful, stand clear. He lets down the hatch in which you emerge, very deliberately, as though to avoid making much noise. Was this table used to perform operations? Operations, yes, but on cadavers, not living people. It's an autopsy table. We're in the hospital's mortuary. If you take a peek through the door frame to your left, you'll see the coolers. Oh, Lovely. You peek around the corner and are greeted by an enormous 18-body morgue. The apparatus appears mostly intact, though a few of the doors have been wrestled from their hinges. A faint whiff of formaldehyde still clings to the air. Why does this hospital need an 18-body cooler? That seems excessive. Most of the deaths come from the maternity ward. Back when the maternity ward was active, death during childbirth was pretty common. Minerva medics were on top of the line, certainly, but they were still constrained by the limited medical knowledge available to them. Minerva was only founded 50 years ago. Death during childbirth was still that common? Suppose so. Medical science has come a long way in the last half-century. Oh, suppose so. Medical science has come a long way in... Oh, sorry. Where do we go from here? That's for you to decide, actually. Minerva uses responds more mercifully when a client takes the lead. I'm honestly less of a guide and more of a Sherpa. That said, I do have a few suggestions. You're here looking for your mum, right? Well, we're in the basement of the administrative ward. There are a lot of offices full of scattered documents. Might be worth pouring through them. There's a flight of stairs right outside the door behind you. That'll take you right up. Okay, let's do it. You really think we'll find out what happened to Mum by searching this building? To be honest, we don't like to find exactly who you're looking for here. You're probably going to need to pay a visit to Operations Ward or perhaps the Chronic Ward to find out exactly what you're looking for. But we'll probably find enough info here to better narrow down our search. Hopefully after we're done here, we'll know which section of the city to focus our efforts on reaching. We won't have to canvass the whole region, of course. You mentioned that your mum, Rosalind, often made professional visits to the hospital, correct? Yeah, she came here for work often. I don't have any clue why. She wouldn't tell me. It might go more smoothly if we had any idea where she spent most of her time or who she interacted with while she was here. She really communicated nothing about her visits? Nothing. We just had that kind of relationship. That kind of relationship? Alright, well, the hospital's huge, and we'll never be able to canvass the entirety of it. Let's focus our efforts on searching the administrative ward. That's where we're most likely to find clues. Alright, let's get going. Alright. So we got this. I don't know, like, what you can interact with and how the interactions of the game work, necessarily, at the moment. We have a staircase. Did I go upstairs or not here? I can't tell, you know. I guess I did, right? When did that happen? How did that happen? I guess we... Oh, we came through that door. I see. That makes no sense. That's really weird. Alright, I guess we're going up anyway. Let's check out these rooms. We should search the offices in this hall before moving forward, or rather, that is my recommendation. Okay. Oh. What offices? I can't go down that hall, apparently, so... What is happening? I can't seem to go into any of the rooms it wants me to go into, which is a bit weird. Oh, I see. You have to click on the screen as well. Alright, okay. Let's have a look. You find an encrusted tattered notebook lying in the bottom right drawer of the corner desk. The name Vera Silkwood scribbled on the cover. Good find. The notebook probably belonged to one of the accountants that work here in the administration wing. You might glean a few things about what went on around here by flipping through it. Alright, we're going to open the diary. Mood diary. Entry, June the 1st. Sorry, entry 1, June 27th. God, I can't read today. Feel bad, difficulty getting up in the morning, unappetized at lunch, foggy in the afternoon, strong undercurrents of malaise all day. I would have written the same on days minus 14 to 0 if I started this earlier. Getting promoted to the maternity ward, what an infuriating euphemism. The pay is the same, and the work is even less important than I'm surrounded by screaming newborns. I hate children. Famously, sending me here was a sick joke. Perhaps, if I'm as obnoxious in this position as in the last, I can get promoted out of here yet again. Oh, it just does it here. Seems as though Vera didn't want to be transferred here. Here's page 2. Forgot to fill this out in the last few days, but that's okay, because they wouldn't look any different from my first entry. The accounting here is hellishly monotonous. Do you have any clue how hard it is to bore some passionate about accounting? Within the Saturn core, I felt like I was actually making an impact. I guess Rosalind was so thrilled I blew the whistle that she decided I could make an even bigger impact here, making sure no screaming newborns double dip in the hospital account. The only things to keep track of are the medicine consumption tabulations and the infant sickness rates and correlations. Sometimes more than one gets hepatitis, and there's a link. Sometimes someone on night shift decides to dip into the medical supply closets. Petty discrepancies. It's not much, but it's all I've got to work with. Hey, Rosalind's your mum's name, right? Yes, it is. Yep. Think we got a match? I doubt all that many Rosalinds worked at the Saturn core. She was in charge of staff rotations and transfers. It's definitely a match. Well, I see. In that case, we should definitely keep reading. Oh, what's this? It seems the rest of the page has been ripped out. I wonder why. Let's keep an eye out for the remaining pages as we explore the rest of the accounting block. We might give Ian a bit more information about Rosalind if we happen across them. We need to find those pages. You've got to sniff around like a pig hunting for truffles. Let's go. So he can't hear Jasper, but we can. No, this is all just the diary pages again. Alright. Why is this door bricked off? I bet there's something good on the other side. Okay. Actually, I don't think there's anything at all on the other side. Look out the window. It doesn't lead anywhere. So this place just has random doors to nowhere? I think this used to lead somewhere, but the building was partially demolished and appended to dozens of times. Weird little artifacts like this are the result. Okay. I don't see anything else in here. Oh shit, there's loads of fucking rooms. Oh, this is where we were. Okay. I like this porch, it's nice and airy. Yeah, it's nice. Administrative staff used to come here to relax and smoke. Did you ever hang out here? No, tunnel rats weren't allowed places like this. Such a weird society, this. I don't even know, this game is so strange. I don't really know what to make of it. Alright, where haven't we been? I feel like we've been to all of these now. Ah, we haven't been here. Before you sits a small desk hosting an antique typewriter. The scene is tastefully backlit by a pair of partially smashed stained glass windows. Let's rummage through the desk. Upon searching the desk, you discover a neatly stacked set of withered telegram cards laid in the order of their delivery and reception. The hell were you thinking? Stop. Why send Vera to this department snooping knows where it doesn't belong? Stop. Potentially disastrous. Even worse, in Saturn Core. Stop. No matter how bad you think you have it, she was much higher risk here. Vera, sounds like they're discussing the woman who authored the diary we found earlier. Why not terminate her? Stop. Not safe in any bureau. Stop. Too nosy. Notices discrepancies like Hawk. Stop. Why us? Vera, extremely productive, judged by quantitative metrics and family, well connected with admin. Stop. Termination would be optical disaster from many angles. Stop. Order came straight from Rosalind. There it is again, that chill. Rosalind, there it is again. Do you think they're referring to your mum? Probably. She was often tasked with overseeing the transfer of staff. Let's keep going. Bean counter somewhere. Send bean counter somewhere she can't do much damage. Stop. Relegate to theatre department or food product bureau. Stop. If she finds out too much, bad for both of us. Transfer needed. Plausible explanation as promotion. Stop. Vera, extremely competent, unfortunately. Stop. Even try giving bad assignments to justify demotion before resorting to promotion. Stop. I am sorry. You are useless. You've reached the end of the stack. Interesting exchange, but doesn't tell us much about your mum, other than she didn't want Vera hanging around the Saturn core. But why are they so terrified of Vera? Makes you wonder what they were trying to hide. I don't know. Couldn't be anything nefarious if they're willing to just leave telegrams like this in unsecured office drawers. If it was something serious, they'd be more cautious. He seems eager to move on from this train of thought. I encourage indulging him. Alright, let's find the rest of the diaries. Alright. This is cool. Very unique. But a lot of interesting lore. Why are all these chairs lined up like this? There's nothing else here. There used to be an entertaining table they all faced. It went missing a few years ago. An entertainment table for card games and such? That sounds fun. What happened to it? Honestly, someone probably dragged it up to the roof so they could throw it off. We look so done with everything that he says. You peer into the cavity of the trash chute on the right side of the room. Little light escapes from inside and the aperture emits an unpleasant sulfuric odor. Layers of detritus and sludge strewn about the interior makes details difficult to distinguish. Despite this, you notice a pair of loose leaf papers stuck to the back of the receptacle. Stick your hand in there. Do it! Alright. You reach into the tube, your arms quickly enveloped in an unknown mossy texture. You aimlessly grope through the sludge until you arrive at a relatively crunchy texture. 2 loose sheets of paper. You free the papers from the slimy receptacle and remove your arm. These are the next 2 diary entries. Alright. This is Vera's diary again, the accountant. I actually found something fascinating today, the first break in the monotony since my transfer. While looking through records pertaining to the hospital's infant mortality rate, I noticed that incidents of stillbirth in the maternity ward are almost never isolated. As in, there's never one stillbirth at any given day. There's always 2 or 3, sometimes more. Then 0 for weeks or months. There's pretty strong evidence of malpractice by 1 or more employees. I'm trying to isolate any common obvious denominators between the stillbirth cases. Perhaps they can be tied to someone's shifts in the maternity ward. Oh yeah, mood a little better. Nothing about Rosalind yet, but... So there's potentially a serial killer killing babies? I noticed a pattern when looking at the nurses' timesheets. Stillbirth tends to occur only when one of 4 or 5 nurses are on shift. Currently trying to sniff out any commonalities amongst those nurses. Furthermore, I've noticed the clusters of infant stillbirths nearly always coincide with an anomalous drop in the amount of ergo and datura reported in the medicinal support cabinet. Medicinal stocks are only recorded weekly, so the correlation is rather coarse, and I cannot be sure, though it's an intriguing lead nonetheless. I requested my office be moved to the maternity ward up on the 2nd floor. They probably think I'm nuts since the offices on that floor are much smaller, but I need my eyes and ears there if I'm to figure this out. Looks like that's all that's here. Maybe we'll find more entries if we can find our office in the maternity ward. The hospital had supplies of ergo and datura. Pandora was the centre of a lot of groundbreaking medical research prior to his abandonment. As such, a pretty wide stock of exotic medical chemicals were kept around. Anyone with even slim medical credentials could get their hands on some pretty esoteric stuff without too many questions being asked. In fact, a team working in this very hospital was credited with discovering that ergo used to be used to treat migraines. As for datura, I recall hearing they had some luck using it to treat dandruff. Alright. Personally, I'd rather deal with dandruff than regularly ingest nightshade. Not much about mum, though. Nom. True, finding out the rest might prove worthwhile, however. From the sound of things, Vera was digging into something pretty shady going on around here. Even if it doesn't pertain directly to Rosalind, we might be better off figuring out what it is. Alright, where should we go next? The medical supply closets referred to in the diary entries are right below us in the sub-basement. They're probably worth investigating. We can get there by taking the stairwell at the end of the hall. Yeah, I doubt we'll find much, but the entries did mention some anomalous dips in medical supplies, so we should probably take a look. Following you. This is really, really good. Oh, fuck. You come to a stop after exiting the stairwell. You hear something. Some horrible, captivating racket is escaping from the room on the right side of the hallway. You focus your hearing. Though heavily distorted, you clearly recognize the source. A woman. Crying. Is someone there? It sounds like a woman crying. Shh. Your guide aggressively shushes you before you can finish. He appears calm, but his fixed gaze and tense stance betray intense tension. Stay here. I'll investigate. Your guide slinks to the side of the door without making a sound. He moves like a cat. He peers around the corner of the doorframe. After taking a look, the ferryman rounds the corner and enters the room. Several moments pass in silence. Say something. Hey champ, everything alright going in there? Before the words have a chance to escape, you hear the door slam shut. You instinctively run up to the door and peer through the grate. The ferryman is staring back at you. Did you just slam the door on its own? Well, not on its own exactly, in the way that marionettes don't move on their own. Have you heard of the sorts of incidents infiltrators sometimes report near the Saturn core? The broker must have mentioned them in the introductory sermon he gives to all his clients, though he probably didn't go into much detail. Every minute with him is metered. Of course, everyone knows what happens to people near the core. Hallucinations, time stretching, seeing people who've been dead for 20 years. They're not hallucinations. You just saw this door slam shut. That was no trick. Feel it. He grabs the door and gives it a good shake as if encouraging you to do the same. He is unusually forceful. The room is an old isolation cell, so it should lock and unlock from the outside, yet I'm willing to bet you won't find any means of opening it. Minerva has decided it should remain shut. You grab the exterior handle and shake the door, but nothing gives. The barrier refuses to move, even a millimeter. You examine the locking mechanism. The exposed keyhole moderates the extension and retraction of a bolt that restrains the right-hand side of the door. You peer into the crevice separating the door from its frame. The gap is wide enough for you to see. No bolts are extended. The door is unlocked. The door isn't even locked. Why won't it open? The door isn't locked. It's completely sealed. Parts of the city sometimes come to life, confusing and disorientating those who breach its envelope. This isn't a simple locked door. It's a trap. And one that I fell for. Remember the crying women? That was bait to lure one of us or both of us into the cell. Look around. Not a soul in sight. Once I slid in, the door sealed right behind me. Really, I should have known better than to fall for a trick like this, but I can't just bring myself to leave sounds like that uninvestigated. Encountering resistance this early on is unusual, miss. Do you have some history here, or with the building I should know about? He's talking too much. Do something. You plant your left foot with firm force. It becomes tightly fixed in place as if stuck in concrete. Without thought, your left glute tightens and your core tenses up. You raise your right foot and tuck it in like a cobra ready to strike. The moment of action arrives. Your right foot springs forward like a head springing from a jack-in-the-box. First contact is made. A ripple shoots through your legs and into your pelvis, dissipating before making it to your torso and left thigh. The force was completely reflected by the door. Mom, that's not going to do anything. Ow. Yes, ow. Minerva doesn't respond to blunt force trauma like that. What will it respond to? Probably nothing. At times like this, there are ways to bargain with Minerva, but I don't believe this is one of those cases. No way around it, the door's staying closed. So what are we going to do? Don't worry, I got a plan for getting out of here. The shift managers used to call me Wiggly. Didn't like it very much at first, but the nickname stuck for a reason. I'm skinny, you're not. Flexible. Even the tightest conduits and interstitial spaces aren't a challenge for me. The utility tunnels that weave underneath Minerva, they're too narrow and contorted for most people to fit through. That's why they have to employ very young people, see? But I'm flexible and skinny and wiggly enough to get through them without much issue, even now. I remember a path through the pipes that should spit me back out at the maternity wards. We'll link up back there. Alright, would you mind if I started calling you Wiggly? Not at all, really. It's the only name I've ever gone by. In fact, I didn't even know my legal name if I didn't once stumble across some tunnel maintenance shift scheduling leisures in the administrative district. Paul Lohman. A name never meant anything to me. It's too stuffy for my taste. Wiggly is definitely more suiting. I mean, wiggly is literally an apt adjective for describing me, you know. Hard to get more fitting than that. Anyway, we should get going. I'll head to the tunnels. Like I said, we'll reconvene in the maternity ward. You'll have to navigate there on your own. Just go up the stairs, down the hallway, take a left. You'll find an entrance there. It should be unlocked. There's an old operations room at the very end of the serial corridors that should be easy to find. Just keep walking forward and straight when you get there, basically. That room has a small vent that connects to the steam network. I'll meet you there. Alright, see you on the other side. Wiggly nods and does a heel turn and disappears down the chute, sliding down it with speed you'd never expect. Do you see how fast he wiggled out of there? It's like he's covered in a layer of motor oil. Anyway, we're on our own now. Let's head to the maternity ward. Very interesting little game, this. What is this? It's a poster for some weird old ballet. The main actress ahead looks weird, like it's plastered on. Odd place to advertise this stuff, I guess. They put musicals on for the patients. Don't like it. Alright, where the fuck is the stairs? It's behind me? Oh, I've got to search the medical cabinet first. I don't know where that is. You're expecting a lot of me, game, to be able to navigate anything whatsoever. None of this is a medical cabinet, right? Supply closet was once stocked with a huge supply of exotic chemicals. Unfortunately, all the fun ones have been stolen or destroyed. There's no documents or ledgers to be seen either. Seems this lead wasn't as useful as hoped. Despite this, one of the remaining vials catches your eye. No adrenaline. Sounds useful? You decide to take the vial with you. You attach one of the covered syringes found in the drawer in case the substance is ever needed, intravenously, and stow it in your pocket. Alright, so we have drugs. Excellent. I have no idea where I'm going, everyone. Door's locked. Pretty sure it's the way to maternity ward. I have to find another way through. It's like some sort of linen washing facility. Not sure why it's in the administrative wing. This is probably not real, right? You enter and encounter a frail, frizzy-haired woman, doggedly scrubbing her hands. Her eyes appear slightly sunken, obvious tell of her intense fatigue. She glares at you intensely. Her expression reveals her view of you, painfully clearly. You are an intrusion, a foreign body. Who is this? You shouldn't be anywhere else. Who is this? My reading is fucked today, guys. I'm sorry. Who is this? There shouldn't be anyone else here. Let's carefully introduce ourselves. The woman rises from the pail to address you. Excuse me, miss. You shouldn't be here. You should have checked in at the front desk. Every patient should be... Whoa. Every patient should before being allowed past the foyer. I know some of our services are more discreet in nature, but we still need you to go through the proper channels and have you signed in. How did you even get here? You shouldn't have made it past the front desk without security being alerted. Why does she care what entrance we came through? This place has been abandoned for 20 years. Well, miss, I really need to know. I came in past the front desk. No, you didn't. I would have gotten a few alert taps through the telegrammatic lines and prepared to meet you in the inspection room instead of here. I don't typically introduce myself to patients while washing stained rags. For what it's worth, those rags look pretty clean. In any case, we've really got to get you signed in. You should have primed on how to enter discreetly. Follow me to the front desk. We'll quietly get you recorded and we can move into the maternity ward. You want me to sign in? Look at the state of this place. You might have come in for under a table operation, but we still need to go through the motions of signing you in and recording your visit. Wouldn't it be odd if countless unaccompanied women came in at all the hours with no proper documentation of their visits? I get it now. She thinks you're here for something seedy, something under the table. She's right about that, but she doesn't know why we're really here. What does she think's going on? Alright, hold on. Who are you? My name is Julia. I've been a midwife at the infirmary for 9 years. You're in good hands. Julia's presence is strange and unnatural. Her cadence and gestures seem disconnected from the present scene. The subliminal signals she's sending you via gesticulations and body language are distorted and inscrutable, as if transmitted through a television set overcome with static. If we do get signed in, will you take me to the maternity ward? I have to take you to the maternity ward, miss. That's why you were supposed to sign in. Why did you come through the administrative wing? You shouldn't be here at all. It's a personal matter. I understand. I'll get you into the maternity ward, but we're going to have to go through the front desk. No way around it. I think she wants to help, but she also wants to keep the rule bending to a minimum, though I'm not sure who enforces the rules these days. Looks like something's obviously wrong with Julia. She seems to think this hospital's still operational. But if you just go along with her for now, maybe she'll actually get us to the maternity ward. She acts like she knows her way around at least. Julia wrings the last drops of water off her hands. She subtly turns to face the doorframe, motioning for you to follow her. Alright, we've got a ghost with us now. Lovely. Alright, so she unlocked the door for us, which we couldn't do before. What's up with this dome? Oh, this is just the main lobby. Patients enter through here. Someone comes to greet them and show them to the front desk. At least that's what they're supposed to do. Well. Hang on. Why the same dialogue played? I didn't click anything. Before you lies a small stage. A rotten piano imploded in on itself sits atop, resting beneath a shattered engraving of two women waving torches. What's the deal with this auditorium? Seems a little out of place in the infirmary. She's not listening. Come here often? No, I don't. Liar. We should keep moving. We need to sign you in at the front desk. So something is wrong about this room. The ghost doesn't know it? Maybe? You can't go in there. That's someone's office. Looks like it leads to a stairwell. You approach a small overlook. A fresh breeze pours through the open windows. Please, miss, let's not linger here. I hate this room. You'd rather go back to the mouldy, claustrophobic hallways? Because, to be honest, that sounds preferable to me as well. I really would. I hate this overlook. Hate the view. Hate the crib. More than anything, I hate the smell. Now she mentions it, there is a bit of rot in the air. Yeah, what's up with the smell? You're going to make me say it, aren't you? Sick babies. Ones we've exhausted treatment for. This is where we leave them. Right here in this crib. We tell the parents that there's nothing else we can do, but they still have a chance if they get some sunlight and fresh air. We know it's not going to work. I think the mum and dad usually know too, but we keep bringing babies here, all the same. I keep bringing babies here. They always make me do it. That's genuinely horrific. Someone has to do the dirty work, miss. If I don't, no one will. Did any of the babies you left here pull through? Only a handful. Babies that have a real chance don't end up here. Sounds like at least a few of them had a real chance. How many infants got sick and died here? Before our budget was reduced? Too many. After the slash? Way, way too many. Usually of respiratory distress. And why did it always fall to you? It didn't always. They used to just make the newest nurse take on the responsibility. But I don't want to go into it, but I'm very indebted to some of the higher-up staff here. So a lot of the tougher work is falling on me for a while. That isn't fair. You shouldn't have to do this alone. Life isn't fair, miss. I've made my peace with that, and I suggest you do the same. What lovely, lovely place this hospital is. Here's the front desk. This is where you should have gone as soon as you got here. Remember in the future. Julia approaches the octagonal station before you and gazes directly into the cavity behind the central pane. Her eyes light up as she begins to converse with someone. This young lady's in need of secondary services. Just let me fill out the forms for her. We're in something of a hurry. I know she needs to provide the closing signature, but I can perform the rest. The hospital has been operational over a decade. Who is she talking to? Oh, I forgot to ask. What's your name, miss? Amber. She glances at you a little suspiciously, but decides to pursue her intuitions no further. Alright, I'll jot that in. No, she isn't really here for any non-secondary procedures. Jot it down for something non-invasive. Ingrown toenail. Go with that as the official malady. Seems you need an official reason to be here, and it's whatever Julia has planned for you isn't suitable. So she's taken to slandering the virility of your healthy, perfectly formed toes, just so you can have an official reason to sign you in. Remain silent and take the blow to my ego. That's what I'm going to do. Julia seems to appreciate your cooperation, but your toes wail in vain, narcissistic agony. Alright, we need your signature and we'll be set. You approach the counter. You approach, keeping your focus fixed on the document prostrated out on the counter. As you scan the document for suspicious clauses, you start feeling something off. Something amiss. You sense something in your periphery. You glance up. No one is behind the counter. Nothing fills the cavity but a vacuum, along with an ether of dust and insinuative particles circulating about the air. This ward has been shuttered for decades. There was never anyone at the front desk. Julia imagined the entire encounter. Julia waits behind you, expectantly hovering. Alright, we'll sign the document. Just go along with this for now. We don't have much choice. Julia pushes the signed document forward towards Valerie. Thank you for cooperating. I know this procedure probably seems excessive, elaborate, but we've got to take proper precautions and document your visit. We're subject to very intense scrutiny by a number of Saturn accountants, as I'm sure you're aware. Julia makes a quick gesture to the vacuous entity behind the glass and pivots to the right. She expects you to follow her lead and starts heading down the corridor. Another death crib? No, miss. This is where we would set up patients suffering from chronic lung diseases. Not everything that happens here is so ghastly. This is the place of healing, after all. This way, miss. We need to perform a quick inspection before proceeding. Which parts of my body need inspecting? I just checked, and they're all working fine. I can't just take your word for that, miss. I need to confirm for myself. She doesn't trust you. Just a few quick scans to make sure you don't have any underlying health problems. We want to avoid any complications during the operation, you see? Now, right this way. I don't think we should be committing to this operation. You enter a small, poorly lit room. In the center is a small gurney flanked by antiquated medical equipment, all of it covered in a thick layer of grime. Please, miss, lie down on the table. We just need to get a few physical readings, preliminary scans. This entire setup looks insufficiently sterilized. I'm a professional, miss, and so are my colleagues. Do you think so little of us that you would suggest we're using unsanitized equipment? We're a very little short-staffed right now, true, but all the important equipment's been thoroughly sterilized. Just cut the bullshit, you just don't care. You waded through a sewer on the way here, stop it to be anything other than vile, and lay down the asbestos cake gurney. Will this require anything invasive? I'd like my envelopes unbreached and intact. No, miss, this won't require anything invasive. I just need to perform a few quick inspections to ensure that you don't have any underlying health issues before we move forward. Fine. Let's do it. No need to be apprehensive, miss. This won't take long. As I said, there'll just be a few quick inspections. lay down relaxed. Onto the roof. The ceiling above is decorated by an intricate mold pattern, the product of decades of water damage. It is beautiful. A set of surgical lights illuminate your features from the left side. You feel like a museum piece. Let's start by taking your blood pressure. Alright. Julia slips a small band around your left bicep. Her fingers run around your forearm and elbow as they drag the band up. After the band is put in place, she gently lifts her fingers and turns to one of the machines. You hear a slight whir. Pressure begins accumulating on your bicep. How old are you, miss? I'm 26. Your blood is a little bit higher than it should be your age. Still within tolerances, though, I suppose. You spent too much time drinking and smoking in your early 20s. Your body's already a shambles. This is why we have dreams about your teeth falling out. I'm sure my freakish horse-like heart rate will make up for it. Now let's look at your heart rate. Julia guides the stethoscope chest piece to your left collarbone and slowly slides it down your chest. The touch is icy but intimate. Your heart rate's a little bit lower than average. Are you an athlete? You're not an athlete. You're just presently deprived of your beloved uppers. Your heart is slacking off in their administrative absence. I try to keep myself in shape, yes. I can tell. While keeping the diaphragm in place with her left hand, Julia runs her fingers along your right bicep up to your shoulder. Part of the inspection... What the fuck? Oh no, I apologize. You just have an impressive physique. Alright, your heart rate is healthy. Now we just need to check that your breathing is normal. Try to take a few deep breaths for me, okay? Julia puts her ear down directly over your mouth. You resist intrusive thoughts about gently nibbling it. She's close enough you can smell her. She smells lightly of peppermint. You breathe deeply, slowly, in and out for 2 or 3 cycles. Julia rises a bit. Her eyes remain fixated on your chest. Slowly she guides her hand down on top of your breast and presses down firmly. Keep breathing, please. We keep it together and continue to breathe. Easy now. In and out. Focus on the breath itself. Your breathing is normal, though I can feel your heart rate spiking a little. In and out. In and out. In and out. Julia slowly rises back up and removes her hand from your chest. Very good. Just one more check. I need you to count to 0, starting from 5 going backwards. Can you do that for me? Yes, ma'am. You hear the slightest amount of shuffling. 5. 4. 3. A sharp stinging pain rings through your left arm. Sharp, piercing hot. A needle jab. Hey, did you just jab me? Please, miss, relax. It was just a pinprick. You just said you wouldn't jab me with anything. What did you just put in me? Please, miss, there's no need to make a scene. I only provide a small dose of anti-anxiolytics and muscle relaxants, intramuscular, just to make the procedure a bit easier for you. And you aren't being charged anything for it either. Really, I'm doing you a pretty big favor. She places her hand back on your collarbones. We're finished with the inspection, miss. We can go on with the operations. Who cares? You said this physical would be non-invasive. Come on, you can hardly call that little prick invasive. And I'd warned you about it. It only would have given you anxiety. You lurch forward off the gurney and dust yourself off. Take me to the maternity ward, now. Julia finally starts to look a little cross with you. Fine, maternity's back out just down the hall. If you're so eager, you lead the way. Oh, she's pissed with us. If we save the game. This is interesting. I'm not feeling great. Oh. Everything's kind of wobbly. Oh. Look at the map. Holy shit. This is the room at the end of the wing where Wiggly was supposed to meet us. Miss? Miss? Julia's behind us. She follows all the way down the hall. Miss, slow down. You're medicated. You shouldn't be walking without assistance. Do not stop. Do not wait for her. Where is Wiggly? Try to find Wiggly. He should be here. You are not all right. Find something to grab and regain balance. You follow your hands wildly, groping haphazardly for an anchor. Your right hand lands first, finding a handle on a nearby medical cabinet. The cabinet is the only source of stability. Put all your weight on it, trying to balance. It's not as heavy as you imagined. You can feel it tipping towards you. There's no stopping it. Flail forwards towards the back of the room, mostly clear of the falling cabinet, but your legs up pinned underneath it. A multicolored assortment of vials, syringes, and ampules flow forth from the cabinet. They stain the floor you're pinned to. A moment later, you hear clanging footsteps. Julia is closing the distance. Julia enters the room, jams her knee between your shoulder blades, and arrests your left wrist, pulling it behind your back. Her skin feels like ice. The distortions intensify the moment her skin touches yours. She's restraining you, and she's poisoning you. Julia, what are you doing? The patient's behaving violently, initiating restrainment procedures. Julia is shouting down the hall. She pretends not to hear you. You struggle, but Julia is a stranglehold on your left wrist and your knee on your back. Your legs remain pinned by the medical cabinet, though you can't tell it isn't too heavy. Your right hand is free. Use it. Grab a syringe tip and stab Julia. You seize the needle and violently strike Julia behind the thighs. You penetrate her envelope, breaking her epidermis. An electric shock shivers down your spine. You shake off the intrusions. Julia doesn't react to the invasion. She isn't even trying to prevent a second strike. She finds it familiar. The room begins to reek of organic solvents. Your shoulder blades at left wrist start to burn. Look at the needle. You drag the vial into your field of view. You can make out the label now. The needle contains a dose of norepinephrine. Inject it straight into your main line. You should be still being intuitive for you. Use the boost to wrestle out of Julia's grip. Alright. You haphazardly plunge the needle into the outer side of your right thigh, midway through your hip and knee. The sting of violent self-penetration vibrates through your leg. Julia releases her grip and throws herself back. You fail to navigate the norepinephrine to the viable vein, but stabbing yourself has thrown Julia off balance. Get up, we need to make a run for it. You pull your legs out from under the cabinet and coil yourself into a pouncing position. You notice your left hand's covered in blood. Stand up, turn around, and run for it. You press your chest up and tuck in your knees, quickly but deliberately putting your weight on your right foot. You begin to push your center of mass up. Your balance fades slightly as your right leg nears full extension. You slam your left leg firmly into the liquid floor and stabilize yourself. Both legs are now fully extended. You're doing it, you're standing! Julia is retreated to the corner, hyperventilating. She shut the door when we entered. Will it open? Let's open it. The door was locked. It's just like the isolation cell door that separated you from Wiggly. Minerva wants us here. You feel an icy tug on your right leg. You look down. Julia is tugging at you. Her body is lightly convulsing as if she were being electrocuted. She is pathetic. What did you inject me with? Why did you pin me to the ground? Julia doesn't respond. Instead, she scurries forward and rightly trips your calf. Help me out of this. Give me the sedatives, miss. You should be grateful I gave them to you. Please, miss, I'm in pain. You don't know what this feels like. Let's strike her? Let's try and tug away. Miss, no, please don't leave me like this. Please, not here in this room. Leave me alone anywhere else. Her fingers sink deeper. Your calf begins to sear. Kiss Julia. We gotta do it, guys. You cave into your intrusions. You bend down and press your lips against Julia's. You move your right hand down her chest. You feel a pleasant shock ringing through your jaw. For a moment, the contact feels radiant and beautiful, but the radiance soon gives way to heat and burning, painful heat. We think we're dead. Your lips inflame. Bullet ants begin swarming your body. You violently kick Julia to the ground. She again begins to shake. She stares down at her hands. Why? Why do I still see these? Your own hands begin to burn violently. The sensation spreads. Bullet ants begin swarming your body. Your legs are invaded. They begin to fail and revolt. You fall to the ground, paralyzed. The ceiling is trying to suck you in. It's succeeding. Your legs and arms extend and retract, taking on bizarre proportions. You feel like a severed toe. Why do I keep finding you like this? Fight to regain composure. You gaslight yourself. Your legs and arms are the same length. Proprioceptive senses lie. The ceiling's just a normal ceiling adorned with a cool pattern. You can see it more clearly now. The nerve endings fraying along your appendages are merely toxins leaving the body. You will come out of this healthy. The fog is interrupted by an intrusive grating sound, the sound of a hatch opening. Miss? Miss? He's opened the gate leading to the ducts for you. Dive for it. You hurl yourself into a horrible configuration some would call upright. You launch yourself into the hole. Hey there, been a while. What's he doing here? Get him out of here. No, it hasn't. It hasn't been long at all. You never leave me alone. I wouldn't have to keep showing up if you wouldn't just get it together, Emily. I can go back. I can correct for it. I can fix it all. No, you cannot. The past stands forever as an unreasonable monument to spite and stupidity and lust. You squander your youth and beauty, writhing, wailing, vainly trying to chisel that ugly marvel into something it just isn't. Is it too late for me? Please cease these loaded rhetorical questions. We both know I'm in no condition to forgive you. Then I don't want to play with you anymore. Trust me, anyone would have gotten that message loud and clear after what you did. Stop! Let's just get out of here. Ignore me, grope me with 1,000 hands and eyes. Either way, I'll keep on slinking and writhing places you will not reach. No, don't buy it. She can be excised like a bullet lodged within the brain. Standard foreign body removal. Removing me will be a traumatic procedure. Prepare yourself for a lot of psychic self-mutilation. I'm lodged pretty deep. Fine then, nothing beneath the cerebral cortex has been doing much for us lately anyway. The lower stem just made us fucking walk manually. We don't need them. And right now, amygdala ablations are all the rage right now. Losing a little grey matter is a small price to pay for ridding your brain of vermin. So many parts of your brain are redundant. Even that guy who took a rod through the skull eventually made a recovery. Cut her out. Huh, Jasper really doesn't like me, do they? That's just right. I'm looking at you, out for you. Your whole life is an ongoing tapestry of permanent, uncorrectable injustices, and this little furball is the root. And what am I supposed to do? Someone please tell me what to do. Thrash about in mud and tar as a horrifying horse drags you down. Just kidding. You probably should have seen a psychoanalytic specialist or something, but instead you just came here. You feel a light splash hit your face, then another, and then another. Water torture, if so fitting. Looks like our time is once again coming to a close. I'll figure this all out, make sure everything's right, undo what was done. I promise I'll succeed. I'll laugh, it hurts. You just don't get it, do you? You returned here. You've already failed. Emily, can you hear me? Please, without motor or verbal feedback on your part, I have no way to know if you're alright. I hear you. Thank goodness, miss. You really had me worried. You weren't responding. I was worried I might have lost another client. How do you know I needed to be rescued from that room? I didn't, miss, but the way you were behaving, well, I could tell something unusual was going on. I was in the overhead ventilation system in the hallway outside of that room, so I tried yelling through the vents, but you couldn't hear me. You're only a few feet away. I saw you enter that room, so I decided to follow the ventilation shafts there, and when I opened the grate, you dived in. What about the woman who drugged me, Julia? What happened to her? Miss, there wasn't anyone else there with you. Not in the hallway, not in the room. How could he have missed her? She was right there. You must have not been paying attention. You must have missed her. She was right behind me in the hallway. Oh no, we must have taken a big blow in the head. I remember a woman who said her name's Julia leading me to that room. I see. This is very bad, miss. Very serious. This Julia who's been following you, she's not like you or me. She's part of Minerva, and for whatever reason, she's attached to you. Who is Julia exactly? Not everyone left behind during the catastrophe was lucky enough to die. And unfortunate for you are still here, lingering on, nails dug deep into their palms. Julia is one of them, I'm sure. The fact only you could see her confirms it. You're in deep trouble, miss. I still don't understand how. Neither do we. No one does. But nonetheless, I've seen this before. So have the other ferrymen. A client, most often someone with connections here, enters the city, and then usually somewhere near the Saturn core, they start having delusions of a third party. Their presence might be innocuous enough at first, helpful even, but soon the client gets sick and has trouble walking, starts having hallucinations. No matter how many times I see it happen, it never fails to shake me to the core, seeing a client incapacitated, writhing in terror at someone in the room I cannot even see. If we hadn't been separated, I might have noticed the signs earlier. Not that it would have helped much. He's being uncharacteristically blunt, isn't he? We're fucked. You've gone through this before, that means you know what to do? Well, we're not completely bereft of options, miss, but there is nowhere to run away from this. Julia's attached to you, you'll need to find a way to shake her off. How? The client who got through found some old family photo belonging to her attachment. I couldn't see exactly what happened, but she reported that showing the family photo to the entity haunting her allowed her to break free. We should hunt for some sort of personal artifact that leans something to Julia. I think that's your best chance. What can you tell me about Julia? Any leads that might point us towards the personal artifacts of hers? She's a nurse who works in the maternity ward. She acted like the visitation she was bringing me in for was extremely discreet and was cagey about what it was actually for. That's all I know. She saw you for a visitation? She assumed that what I was there for. The door to the maternity ward was locked and she said she could unlock it. I see, the door shouldn't have been locked. Kind of suspicious. Any case, it's not a lot to work with, but it's a start. It'll be high risk, but we should scour the maternity ward for anything we can find pertaining to Julia. I doubt we'll find personal artifacts we're looking for, but we might find a few clues as to her identity and exact role. Alright, worth a shot. No other choice. I agree. Tunnels behind me are pretty much a straight shot. They terminate at a hatch that leads up to the maternity ward offices. I suggest we head through them. Are you feeling more stable? Good to walk? We can't spend a few more minutes recovering here, but I wouldn't want to linger for too long. Trust me, I'm not going to feel any better in a few minutes. If you say so, miss. Oh yeah, miss, did you manage to grab the medicine from the storage closet I mentioned? Yep, it's right here. Wiggly immediately reaches forward and confiscates the bottle of stimulants. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried there might not be any of these leds part of the sitting. Usually have to venture deep into the core to find this stuff. Oh, he just necks it. Alright, let's keep going. Did you not leave any for me? Oh, sorry, miss. I didn't know you wanted any. Whatever, let's get moving. Hey, I'm going to take a little break here in the middle of the video, guys, to do my Patreon plugs. If you guys enjoy the content here, enjoy these videos, consider pledging to our Patreon. Be amazing. I think we need 10 more supporters this month to hit our goals. If you do, consider doing that at any tier. That gives you access to exclusive content. Even the dollar tiers give you access to a library of exclusive content. There's amazing things that you can get right there, right now. Go check it out. Going to shout out specifically our Patreon supporters. OD Chatfield, first of all. Thank you so much, OD Chatfield, for the amazing nonkinness abilities that you have. I want to shout out, of course, another Patreon supporter as well, Reaper, also an elite tier nomkin. Oh my god, Reaper, so nom. OD Chatfield, Reaper, you are phenomenal. You know who else is phenomenal? Our Patreon producer, Alice. Her links are on screen right now. Make sure you give her a follow. Make sure you show her some love. Make sure you are an elite tier nomkin like her. And pledge to our Patreon. Link in the description. Here is the rest of Sons of Saturn. Enjoy. Alright, guys. It's a new day for me. Not doing this in front of my live studio audience anymore. We're continuing here with more Sons of Saturn. Alright. Time to try and find how to get rid of the ghosty. You emerge from the hatch into a dim, grimy office. Despite the large window next to the desk, the room remains poorly lit. Wiggly begins speaking in a hushed tone. This is Vera's office, presumably the one she got after requesting a transfer. I found some of her diary pages in the cabinet drawer while I was working my way towards you. I think you should have a look at them. Also, let's mind our voices from here on out. Julia or whoever you were talking about is still probably on this floor. Alright, well, I guess we're going to search the cabinet. Alright, here we go. Missed a few days again, though this time only because I'm wrapped up in my work. I've discovered the instances of infant mortality in stillbirth are synchronized with the medical supply irregularities I documented. Every cluster of stillbirths preceded by a suspicious reduction in the qualities of ergo and deterra we have on hand. The implications of this are chilling. I think someone is using the ergo to induce stillbirths. That would explain why the stillbirths tend to occur in clusters and why the medical supply is always going missing at the same time. I'm going to try and get my hands on a more precise staff time sheets, ideally with hourly precision. Maybe there's a pattern I didn't see before. Oh yeah, mood positive, driven. Alright, so she thinks someone's swiping the ergo and using it to induce abortions. She suspects as much, at least. She might have been correct. Under the table, abortion rings were pretty common in Minerva, and the medical supply irregularities are suggestive. I managed to get my hand on the employee timesheets. The pattern, over 90% of the incidents of stillbirth occur under the watch of Dr. Tan or one of his nurses. I suspect they're using ergo from the medical supply closet to induce miscarriage. Some of the necessary medical equipment's only accessible intermittently, thus explaining the clustering. Dr. Tan's team has 2 women booked for visitation tomorrow morning, both for obviously frivolous afflictions. I'm going to surveil one of their operations. If they perform professionally, I'll probably just keep my mouth shut. They're probably just a discreet team providing a necessary service. But I need proof. Is the ventilation grate in the room they are slated to use? I'll spy from the ducts and see how they perform. No wonder they didn't want Vera here. His telegrams definitely corroborate Vera's hunch, I'll say that much. Vera was planning to spy on them during one of their operations. I wonder how that played out. I bet she did the exact same route through the tunnels we did, though in reverse. That room at the end of the corridors is where they would have operated. I wonder if this has anything to do with Julia. Something tells me it might. Let's go search the top floor. There are a few nurses' quarters up there. Maybe one of them belonged to Julia. There are also a few neonatal units up there. Worth taking a look around. The stairs are just across the hall. Let's move quickly and try not to make too much noise. Alright, let's go. Should be where we're going, is up here. A collection of antique pianos populate the left half of the room. Presumably they were stored here while not in use. More pianos. loosely stacked sheet of paper roosts on the desk before you. A slight curl in the form suggests they were delivered through pneumatic lines. The page smells strongly of mould and the linings are heavily worn. Let's have a read, shall we? Leslie, I won't apologise for the last-minute changes in plan, but we've got to pull the posters for the new play. Don't distribute them till tomorrow. We'll have the new design finished by the end of the week. Best, Robert. What the fuck? The poster's scheduled to go up in 6 hours. We've been planning this for months. Do one of the actors sleep with Tan's wife again or end up in Rosalind's shit list? I hope there's a good fucking reason for this. I'm sorry, Leslie. It's one of our actresses, Julia. She's pregnant. Obviously pregnant. We've all been pretending not to notice, but she's bulging so much it's disgusting. We made the call to take her out to play today, but she's all over the posters. We've got to redo them. Fuck, fine. Send me a photograph of the new actress's head. We'll just slap it on the existing posters. That'll save some time. Could have just told me this doll was pregnant, you know. Why were they so mean to Julia? Who cares if she was pregnant? I don't know. Maybe they were worried about whether she'd fit in the costumes they picked out for her? Actually, it's probably to do more with who she was. A lot of these people here look down on the nurses, especially the ones who worked in maternity. I never really understood why. I don't like she was treated this way, but I'm not sure this exchange really tells us much. Yeah, it doesn't really leave us with much helpful info. Let's keep looking. Alright. Such an interesting game, this, with some really incredibly unique ideas that you don't really see in other games. Like, I can't think I've played anything quite like this. By the way, all the locations in this game are done through real-life photos that the devs have taken. You can see a bit more of the wing from the angle. You're unable to get a good look from the first floor. The grass is clearly artificial. Ambient light from the dome scatters overhead. None of it feels natural. I keep forgetting we're underground. In, like, this weird Minerva place. The day room appears to have been set aside for storage at some point. Documents and other worn notes are strewn about the floor. None of them appear to have anything to do with Julia. Or your mum. I thought they were doing your mum joke there for a minute. And I remembered why we're here. More medical stuff here. An array of esoteric chemicals decorate the shelf. Wafts of chemical air emanate from the cracks and loose seals afflicting many of the medicinal bottles. You catch wafts of alcohol, formaldehyde, and unknown organic solids. Wiggly, after glancing over a few of the bottles, becomes a bit apprehensive. You sense that there is something he doesn't want to share. A loose note stuck in the drawer in the midsection of the cabinet catches your eye. You pick up the note. It appears to be a leathery pharmaceutical request receipt issued to Julia. The texture of the page is harsh on your fingertips, as if the paper is soaked in decades of chemical runoff. She appears to have requested a list of medical substances shown on the ledger below her name. All her requests were declined. Are the drugs she's requesting abortion drugs? Yes, they are. All of them. How does he know? I don't think child labourers often had much in the way of pharmaceutical knowledge. How do you know? Well, we utility kids relied on a lot of uppers to get through our shifts, and most of those we had to scrounge for. So, well, knowing how to tell amphetamines and laxatives apart was a pretty helpful skill to nurture. Why don't they just give them to her? I don't know, but it looks like there's something written on the back of the receipts. Stop sending me requests for these. You're way over the 8-week mark. If you want to get rid of your kid so bad, send it to Rosalind. You weren't allowed to use those after only 8 weeks of pregnancy? That's not even enough time to know you're pregnant. Well, the legal cut-off changing over the years, I think. First it was 16, then 12, then 8, then 2. I overheard a lot of conversations between core officials, all talking about how they needed more kids, how they had to get the birth rate up, that sort of thing. I never really understood why. This is all extremely fucked up, but I don't have time to think about it right now. Let's keep looking around. Yeah, we should keep digging for more notes on Julia. Alright. The courtyard seems to have a central fountain. It's been consumed by vines. You were never able to get a clear view of it on the first floor. It's very soothing to see. The shelves are awfully ornate. They used to be lined with medications too, mostly for the nurses and staff here. Mostly amphetamines, you know. We picked those shelves clean years ago. Wow, everyone here has such a big drug problem. What's up with this room? It's way less dilapidated than the others. All the rooms in this hall are nurses' quarters. I'm not sure why this one is so intact, but my guess is it's one of the other ferrymen uses this room as a camping spot or something. Well, maybe. Every other door in the hallway is wide open or is disintegrated, but this one is locked. Don't think I remember there being any locked rooms on this floor. It's possible. I'm misremembering, though. You have to find a way in here. You know, there's some incredible stuff packed back there. Goodies, doubloons, fun old medical stuff, recreational medications, juicy letters exchanged between forbidden lovers. Let's keep our eyes out for keys moving forward. Found another fancy trash chute like the one I found in Vera's diary pages? No, I found Vera's diary pages in. No, that's an old pneumatic line. Administrators used them to send small packages all over the city. Sometimes packages would get jammed in the tubes and we'd have to ride through them to access the conduits to dislodge them. It was one of the worst jobs. That sounds fucking horrific. Holy shit. What the fuck? I don't really know what I'm looking for, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, so this goes here, whatever. It looks like we can't go back the other way, whatever we do here. And this just takes us... Don't see any more keys and shit, though. Well, we haven't been in here yet. The room's lined with 2 rows of cribs. They're all turned to face you. The empty cribs are accusing you of something. You can feel their ire. Lovely. Fantastic. It is sometimes hard to tell where we are meant to go to and what we can look at. That's my biggest gripe, I would say. Like, why can't we go in these doors on that side? Like, I don't know. You know? Nothing else in here? No, she's going to say the same shit, isn't she, every time? It's weird. And that's the locked door. Why can't we go in... Yeah, but why can't we go in the left door here? See here? I want to go in there. But I can't. There's got to be something here, right? We're just looping at the moment. Nothing else in here except the chute, I guess? And we can't look deeper into it, I don't think. No, they're just going to talk shit. I have no idea where to go here. Help me. Help me, little whatever the fuck your name is. Horatio. Yeah, they really need to do a better... My biggest gripe is you just teleport all around the map. For sometimes feels like no reason. Here we go. Like, it's hard to gauge where you're meant to be going. You enter a room lined with a dozen decrepit suitcases. The air is stagnant and full of particles. You feel as though you're the first to breathe this air in decades. The suitcases look like they've been disturbed in a very long time. You're worried even the slightest touch might cause them to disintegrate. This room was a communal storage area for patients and nurses. Hardly anyone had time to retrieve their belongings before evacuating, so all their stuff is still here. We should look through these suitcases. There's a good chance one of them belongs to Julia. Right, let's do it. Finally, a sense of familiarity occupies your periphery. Julia. The suitcase is stuffed with an assortment of odd items, ribbons, pens, and a conspicuous pair of children's shoes. You also find a stacked array of contracts, checks, and receipts. Alright. One particular document catches your eye, a notice of custody transfer. Okay. The document certifies that one Angela Melnick is now a ward of the Saturn Interior Ministry. This will be our final communication barring further requests for information. Oh, so Julia put Angela up for adoption. Not adoption. He was handed over the Saturn Interior Ministry. Ah. They take in indigent children, teach them vocational skills, provide them some employment. Really kind of them to look after kids in Angela's position. Yes, very kind of them. Wiggly nods in agreement. He seems to have not picked up the sarcastic annotations. He takes everything at face value, doesn't he? What's that on the back of the note? Looks like some sort of note of sorts. I don't often include personal notes with these notices, but these are unique circumstances. Most women who put children in the program don't live 2 floors above in the same building. Some of my colleagues have expressed concerns that living in such close proximity to your former child might cause psychological duress. Be informed that while we permit visitation, we don't encourage it, and 2 days prior notice is required in all cases. Rosalind. There it is again. That's your mum again, right? So I guess Angela wasn't sent to the interior. Angela ended up in Mum's program. Do you think that's why Julia clung to me? I'm not sure, but I don't think it's a coincidence. Wiggly glances into the suitcase and begins scanning the contents. His eyes grow fixed upon something in the interior. Hey look, there appears to be an old room key in here. You look inside the suitcase. Atop a few scraps of paper sits a lone skeleton key. You think this is the key to Julia's room? I don't know that for sure, but given that she had it buried in the suitcase, I think it's likely. But here's something I do know for sure. This key opens the locked room we passed in the hallway back around the corner. I took a look at the lock plug on the door when we passed it earlier. It's a perfect match for this key, so there's a good chance that that's Julia's room. I guess it's time to check out Julia's room then. I agree. Let's get the door open and take a look around. This game has a weird sense of humor too, which is good, because it makes it stronger. Wow. Julia's room is cloaked in layers of ferns. You can sense the spores permeating the room. A constant drizzle of water pours in from the ceiling. The entire room is dense with foliage, though the greenery is thickest near the pot towards the foot of the further cot. A dense, mangled web of ferns is crawling out the basket, to be suffocating a small piece of parchment stuck between their roots. Let's grab it. You sink your arm deep into the mesh of ferns before you begin blindly groping for the object you sense. You feel the stems of the greenery enveloping your arm, depriving you of oxygen, the tendrils wrapped tightly around your forearm. You force your arm deeper into the mesh, your fingers sift through the roots and ash. Just as the tips of your fingers begin to go numb, you feel it. The parchment begins grazing your palm. You tighten your grip around the document, you've got a solid grip, and you yank it out. Oh, the plants are resisting our pull, though. We yank again firmly. The roots don't yield. They won't let your arm go. You writhe and twist, but the ferns have you ensnared. Your arm only sinks deeper into the pit of greenery. You begin to panic. Get the fuck off me. The ferns do not respond to your agitations. They have you in their teeth. You had to go on more aggressive. Merely reacting never got you anywhere. Dive into the ferns and start biting, ripping, and tearing. It's your only chance. You dive into the pot and start ripping into the ferns with your teeth. You can almost hear them squealing with pain, but they do not relent. They still have your arm, and the document. You have to go deeper. Dive in further. You dive headfirst towards the bottom of the basket and bite the roots. You taste the ash they've been feeding on. Finally, sense the ferns beginning to yield. The grip on your arm begins to fade. The stems that begin to envelop the back of your head and neck retreat. You might have a chance at yanking the document now. You free yourself from the web of roots and pull the document out with you. It worked! Hopefully this conditions you to follow my advice more readily in the future. Should I ask what that was about, Mum? No. Alright then, miss. What does the note say? You brush a thick layer of dirt off the note. Doing so reveals the faint odour of kerosene. Alright. I hope this letter finds you well. We are writing to inform you that one Angela Melanick has fallen into persistent vegetative state, likely as a result of encephalitis. Based on our observations of the disease's progression in other children under our care, we do not expect her to recover. However, we will continue to provide life support for as long as autonomous functions persist, and our participation in our neural research program will continue. We apologise for any distress this may cause. If you would like us to cease providing updates for Angela's condition, please contact the Children's Ward clerk. Rosalind. So Julia's kid got sick and fell into a coma after she gave it to my mum's program. I guess I'm not surprised. That's indeed what it sounds like, miss. Pretty much makes sense, doesn't it? No one could survive in her care for long. She's a heartless bitch who tells someone that their kid has basically died under their own care without even saying sorry. I can see why you find this note upsetting, miss. But this document is the most informative lead we've got yet. I think we know why Julia might be upset enough to stick around. I really didn't want to go there, but I don't think we have any choice. We need to pay a visit to the Children's Ward. How do we get there? The only way to get there is to take the elevator back near the stairwell we came up on. All the other entrances have been sealed for decades. So what's the catch? It's a little more involved than it sounds. We need to go up the elevator shed on the roof to turn the lifts on. Before we turn on those machines, that elevator isn't going anywhere. Alright, how do we get there? It's a stairwell leading up to the roof at the end of the hall. That'll take us to the roof. We'll have to navigate the roof walks to get across to the elevator shed, but that shouldn't be too hard. Once we get there going, we can come back down and take the elevator to the children's ward. Alright, let's go. Interesting story. Don't really see where it's going. I've heard this game isn't crazy long or anything, so I'm intrigued to see where it, like, pans out. Alright, we're on the roof. Hopefully this goes... Yeah, this looks promising. Wiggly begins inspecting the panel before you. Alright, need to swap out a few of these wires and... Oh, that's not good. That's very not good. I have some bad news. One of the fuses on the elevator control panel has disappeared, see? He points to a vacant piece of real estate on the panel. I'm sorry, miss, but there's no way to get the elevator to the bottom door. The fuse is gone? Why would anyone have taken it? What good is it to anyone? I've no clue on either count. But somehow I'm not shocked the elevator's been disabled. Minerva's been reacting antagonistically towards you. More so than any other client I've ever guided through. So the city itself magically stole the fuse because it doesn't like me? Not necessarily. One of the other ferrymen might have decided to block access to the children's ward. At least one ferryman's disappeared there. It's also possible some scrapper stole it for himself. The ward's full of valuables, so looters sometimes pay a visit if they're extremely desperate. Maybe one of them decided they didn't want any competition. Somehow, though, I feel Minerva is giving you another sign. We need to find another route to the basement, then. There are no other routes. Every basement level door was locked shut before the city was even abandoned. Even the utility tunnel connections were blocked off. They only neglected to seal the basement elevator entrance because they'd rewired the elevator to never go there. But you can bypass those locks by swapping a few of the cables around. Or rather, you could, before the fuse disappeared. I know what to do. I'll go wait in the elevator cabin, then you'll pull the lever and I'll drop down to the children's ward. That's ridiculous, bordering on suicidal. Once the line's cut and the brake is released, nothing will serve to, a word I probably can't say on YouTube, the elevator's freefall. The elevator is idling on the roof and would drop all the way down to the sub-basement. That's over a 10-meter drop. Don't let him talk you out of it, you know what you came here for. If I jump right before the elevator hits the ground, I'll float to the ground and be uninjured. Miss, this is a common misconception. If you're hurtling towards the ground at 20 meters per second and jump at a speed of 1 meter per second, well, you'll hit the ground at 19 meters per second. You already knew that. I was hoping you didn't know. We'll have to secure his compliance some other way. If you don't go along with it, I'll pull the lever and just jump down the elevator shaft. Yeah, force his hand. Good idea. Now collaborating with the plan is the safe option for him. Still, he looks pretty shaken. Miss, I can't stop you from doing this, but please think hard about whether or not this is worth it. He's coming around to the plan. You might break your legs in the fall or your spine. There would be nothing all I could do for you then to help you. Is that how you want this to end? Starving to death at the bottom of the elevator shaft with 2 broken legs and no painkillers? That's not going to happen. The elevator isn't likely to fall at free fall speed, and it's not that far of a drop anyway. You really are going to go through with this, aren't you? It's no talking you out of it. He sounds almost disappointed in himself. I bet a ferryman might have convinced you to drop this, he's thinking. Oh, fuck off. Go get in the elevator, smack the roof a couple of times when you get there so I know you're inside, then I'll disconnect the cable and pull the lever. Alright, thanks. He does not return your thanks. He looks sullen, hollow, even a little guilty. He reaches into his pocket. Miss, you might want this just in case the descent goes poorly. What's in the pill capsule? It's fentamide, miss. An opiate derivative. All ferrymen keep them on their person in case of emergencies. If you end up immobilized at the bottom of the shaft, well, this might be an appealing option. How much of these do I need to take to die? Just take all of them. I won't be asking for the leftovers. Alright, let's take it. The ferryman nods silently. Alright, no point putting this off. Head back to the elevator, and when I hear the banging of the roof, I'll release. Thanks for helping. Right. Oh, where are we? We fell through the fucking roof. I think we fell through the roof. I'm flat on my back and my tailbone hurts, and I'm looking at a hole in the ceiling, so I think that's a safe bet. No need to get snarky with it. I guess we can think of it as a practice fall. We can handle a 10-foot drop. I think we already take a 30-foot free fall now. Did Wiggly not hear me crashing through the floor? I doubt he did. The wind's pretty intense up there, and this building makes plenty of strange noises on its own. Julia might have heard it, though. We should get moving. Where are we? I think we're back near the stairwell we came up on the top floor. We should be right next to the elevator cabin now, actually. It should be over to our left. Can you move? I'm good to crawl, at least. Then let's slither into the cabin of the elevator so we can get down to the basement. You stand with some difficulty and stumble towards the elevator cabin at the end of the hall. It's nestled awkwardly into the end corner of the hallway, likely a later addition to the original construction. The elevator is idled out of phase with respect to the floor, leaving a gap of several feet between the top of the cabin and the doorframe. Okay, just gotta step in and smack the roof, remember, nothing to it. Alright. You clamber down into the elevator. The cabin's small but like a coffin. The trim of the cabin is decorated by an array of ornate engravings. They are beautiful but not comforting. You feel a squish beneath your left foot. The smell of mild putrefaction invades your nostrils. You look down and see an enormous dead rat underneath your foot. Its mass is superior to any rodent you've encountered. The size of the specimen, incredible. We have to investigate this. Pick it up so we can weigh it and document its size. I don't want to pick it up. The insides are putrefied. Alright, fine. You don't have to pick it up, but you should at least put your hand next to it so we can see how big it is. Alright, go on, fuck it. You place your tiny, pathetic hand next to the impressive carcass. At once, its incredible girth becomes apparent. Your tiny appendage cowers in its presence. Incredible, it's easily over 1/2 meter in length. And it shows such obvious muscle culture on its back? I don't know what that word is. I can't imagine how it died. Once you reach this size, you have no natural predators. Such mass, such sculpted Vesuvian form. What I would give to be that rat. We all wish that were us. We all wish we were such a dominant specimen. We need to move on from this rat. We can't let the siren call of impossible dreams stop us from getting what little we can out of life. It's time to give Wiggly the signal to drop us. Remember, we just need to slap the roof of the cabin and he'll release the lever. Alright, I'm excited. Let's go. I'm moistened. Alright, let's shove Jasper deeper in our pocket and smack the roof. Do you think you heard us? Baby! The horrific visions rattling your spinal column slowly begin to fade. The images and figures are replaced by a pervasive darkness. The tendrils of your nervous system begin to slowly reawaken, and internal monologue slowly creeps back to life. Your These words are too big for little minx. Slowly begin to feel the faint ring of pain emanating from your left big toe. Is this what being dead's like? No, this isn't what being dead is like. I have known death. This is not nature. This is not its nature. Then what is being dead like? Close your left eye, but not your right. Focus on what your left eye is seeing. The left eye doesn't see anything, nor does it see the absence of anything. That's what being dead is like. Don't make me think about that right now. I'm focusing on the backs of my eyelids. It pains me to see you wasting such life, such vigor. When death comes, will you wish you spent more of your time staring at the back of your eyelids? The pain from your toe grows closer. You begin to feel the pressure. The mild odor of putrefaction returns to your nostrils. You hear a distant creaking. We're going to open our eyes, and the dead rat's going to be on our face. Just as all your gears and tendons start to whirl, you hear a familiar voice. We've got to wake up. Yep, I was right. The muscles in your face manage to pry your right eye open. You are lying face to face with a giant rat on the floor of the elevator cabin. It begins to whisper to you. Yes, now focus on what the left eye sees. Get a real taste for it. This would have been shocking to me 2 or 3 hours ago. Really? You've been maintaining a dialogue with that creature in your pocket for quite some time now. Is this so different? But Jasper isn't dead. You're dead, or at least you were. We collided during the freefall. Our nervous systems are now coupled. The architecture of my nervous system is still fully intact. When we collided, I received one last glorious injection of life. I thank you for the donation. I only got to live 622 days before dying in the elevator cabin. Such humiliating brief lapse of time. That makes me grateful for my 9,528 days. Such beautiful longevity. I cannot stand to see it taken for granted. What did you see while you were so close to the edge? I dreamt I was strung up in a theater getting shown visions of hell of eyes getting gouged out until I woke up flat on my back in a sewer. Don't worry about any of that any longer. I won't steal any of your food. I've consigned myself to digesting my own fat and muscle during this final excursion. Your life was short, but you've achieved such an impressive mass before you died. Teach me your secrets. Life is not easy for a baby rat. I don't get big quickly. You'll be eaten by the other baby rats or your own parents. It's time for you to decide what kind of rat are you going to be. I'm going to be a giant rat. I'm going to eat all the siblings and also my own kids. The mere thought of this exercise in dominance reinvigorates you. You've regained some control of your muscles. You're able to open both eyes now. We appreciate this rat long enough. I think it's time to stand up. Your attempt to stand is immediately thwarted by an incredible pain in your big toe. Your toe is probably broken. Take the shoe off so we can have a look. Alright, let's fucking look at it. You begin to slowly unravel the laces binding your foot. After undoing the knots, you begin to remove the shoe. As it slides off, blood begins to return to your injured extremity. With it comes pain, more burning and violent than before. You slowly begin to remove your sock, the last remaining bandage. Your toe becomes full visible. Your glorious full toe arrives in your field of vision. It's radiant, beautiful, red and purple, beautiful unlike any of your other appendages. Holy shit. That looks bad. We can't fix this, put the sock back on. Yeah, looking at it makes it hurt more. We're definitely better off not seeing it. We gotta deal with the pain somehow. Right now, it's too bad to walk. Take some of the painkillers the ferryman gave you. Should be alright if you just take 4 or 5. Sure, I don't care anymore. You place 4 of the small capsules in your palm, toss them in your mouth, and swallow them at once. You lightly scrape your dry esophagus as they descend. The capsules hit your stomach acid, they begin to dissolve. Nearly instantly, the pain begins to subside. You feel as though you're able to stand soon. Wow, this is kicking fast. The ferryman did mention there's something atypical, probably designed to be fast-acting. You return your sock and shoe to your foot, securing the string with a tight knot. You right yourself, placing most of your weight on your uninjured foot, leaning against the side of the cabin. All things considered, we did pretty well for a 10-meter drop. I'm the one with the broken toe. If it's any consolation, I'm pretty sure one of my eyes is scratched. I don't feel it, but now I'm even uglier. Let's go. Wait, don't go. We can't stay here. No, of course, the cabin is a poor tomb. Take me with you, I failed to make the most of my 622 days. You don't owe this rancid verbal anything. You owe me nothing, but you could give me everything. Let's take the giant rat. You can go in the same pocket as Jasper. Hey, what the fuck? Shove the giant rat into the pocket with Jasper. Ugh. This thing is disgusting. How could you do this to me? Quit being a crybaby, it's fine. Putrid liquids are literally leaking from its orifices and soaking my vintage plus body. I'm not being a crybaby. Please just take him where he needs to go so I don't have to sit with him in here. You have my eternal thanks. Alright, we're in the children's ward. Oh, the map is fucked. Excellent. Who's at the end of the hall? It can't be. It's probably Julia. This is why we probably shouldn't go towards her yet. Sometimes, because these are taken from photos, there's little details that you think you can interact with, but you don't know. A visitation logbook lies atop the pile of documents. Let's read it. No familiar names so far. You spend several minutes running your eyes over the entries on every page. Years of visitation slip by depressingly quickly. You see no mention of Julia, nor Angela. You arrive at the final page. The columns terminate. No more visits. Not a single mention of Julia or Angela in the entire booklet. Julia never visited her daughter after sending her here, even though she lived 2 floors below her in the same building. Good for her, this place is depressing. I'm sure it's pretty depressing for Angela, too. We have other things to worry about. Let's keep looking for ways to shake Julia off. Shake it off. And the video's claimed. Well, it looks like we have to go this way. I like the rat and Jasper are like one. Oh, she's gone. Who was that lady? I didn't get a great look, but it looked like me. What? You enter a small room filled with cold and stagnant air. A small wrinkled lump rests in the periphery of the bed, covered in ferns. Do you think this is Angela? This is her room, and that lump's about the right size and shape for a toddler. Your focus is interrupted by the tortured hiss of static. The television set in the corner sprung to life along with the lamp that sits atop it. You concentrate your hearing. The sound is faint but disturbingly clear. Approaching footsteps. Hide! Dive into the ferns. You slither into the interior of a thick blanket of ferns, suffocating the corner of the room nearest the entrance. You can make out slices of the bed frame from your vantage point. The footsteps grow louder. The television begins to scream. I think she's asleep. Get out of here now. Quietly slip the ferns and out the room. That was close. Shut up. We're still right outside the room. Quickly, let's move before she hears us. Alright, we can go this way now. Which I think is a different way. Or maybe not. Maybe I just went to the same place twice. I did. Excellent. This just takes me here. Fuck. Oh, we can go past. Door's a little ajar but still locked. Bolt's bent. Hopefully we can get it open. Stop shaking on the door. We're just down the hall from Julia. Okay, just a depressing room. Toy frog, huh? I guess this was a children's ward? We know it was a children's ward. We literally planned to come here. You enter another small basement room where another mesh of bed sheets and greenery cover an emaciated figure. The air here is vibrantly fetid, more so than any other room. Every surface is overrun with ferns and dense, dizzying mold patterns. The wires conveying fluid snake around the base of the bed and infiltrate the sheets at the seams. An old lever precariously in the on position above the bed-ridden figure. It appears rusty, but you feel you could throw the switch if needed. Body. You can't see much through the canopy, but the figure appears mangled and emaciated. A thick layer of moss and mold sits atop the mattress, the product of decades free from disturbances. The outline of a pale hand can be seen emerging from the canopy of bedding and foliage. The rotten fingers are wrapped tight around a weathered piece of parchment. You try and free the note from the finger's ivory grip, but the figure resists your pull. It won't let you have it. I think this lump might still be alive. I don't see how it's possible. Hear the hum? The room's still powered like the elevator room. See those cables? I think the machine is sustaining this person. But you know, there is life hiding beneath that foliage. I know you can feel it. You can feel the clammy misery smothering the lump's skin. You can feel the mold spores feeding on its nervous system. You can even sense the bed sores that have fused its back to the mattress. This is horrific. The air in this room is putrefying my bone marrow. Of course I can feel it. Let's pull the switch. You pull on the lever, gently stressing the ligaments contracting your right shoulder to its designated socket. The connection is severed. The oxygen, nutrients, and viscous slushes cease flowing. The electric chill works its way into your brainstem. Hypoxia sets in, and brain cell death begins to occur. After only a few minutes, the cerebral cortex disintegrates like a snowball thrown into an open flame. Odorous gases escape from the carcass's failing envelope. Vestigial remnants of muscle contort and contract. Blood begins to pool in the cadaver's lower portions. The prisoner has finally been released. I think I did the right thing, but I still feel guilty. No, shake the feeling. Exercise it violently. If you had decided to just walk out of here, you would have left this cadaverous husk to linger on in agony for decades. Both paths would have forever tainted your soul. Forget those thoughts and grab the note. That's what we came here for. I'm an alive person who can't just pick things up whenever I want. Wow. Yes, and you should use your alive hands to grab that note. Alright, if you're reading this note, I'm dead. I've written copies of this note trying to get them out over and over. Nothing escapes from down here. Dr. Anthony Tan is stealing infants and telling the mothers they are dead. He and his nurses pump them full of deliriants during delivery, swap the infant out for a corpse and hand them a certificate declaring their child was stillborn. I watched this happen from the vents in the surgical suite. I was caught, beaten, and injected with some poison. Oh, shit! Since then, I can't stay awake. I can't get out of bed. I can't think. They don't even bother restraining me. The doctor says I have encephalitis. I've tried to tell him what happened. They respond by pumping me full of sedatives. No one is allowed to visit. No one gets my notes. I drift in and out. Every day is shorter than the last. My swollen brain is about to leak through my ears. I'm keeping this note locked, tight in my palm until I expire. Hopefully no one notices until rigor mortis sets in. Sneak into Frost's office after hours. He leaves every day at 6:30. He has a safe where he keeps the certificates and keys to experiment rooms. The safe combo is this. Easy to remember. Go to the office, but open the safe and tell the cities what's happening. Coroner, please give this note to Alex in accounting. Vera. We just killed the accounting lady. Yeah, I guess we did. Sounds like she got caught spying on that operation. That's what you get for sticking your nose places it doesn't belong. She tried to do the right thing. She deserved better than this. She's not going to get better than this, Emily. She's dead. So are all the kids they dragged down here. So it's Julia's kid, probably. So is Julia's kid, probably. Don't you get what happened? They used the kids they were stealing for experiments in the labs down here. That's what happened to them. They're already dead. The people who did this to Vera, they're probably dead too. They got away with it. We're 20 years too late. There's nothing we can do. Come on. Let's use this combo to open the safe in that office we passed. We can't afford to linger. There was an office. Is this an office? I can't tell. No, we've already seen this, right? Where was the office, then? Aha! You returned to the suspicious safe in Frost's office. We were never here. Ready to crack it open. The dial lock seems to have rusted shut. I guess the combo we got from Vera won't be much use after all. We need to find other ways to get this open. Vera seems to think the keys we need are in here. Your left foot collides with the safe's chassis. The remains of your big toe's bone shatters with an audible crackle. Waves of excruciating pain vibrate the nerves throughout your leg. What are you doing? Fuck, I forgot my toe was broken. Shut up, we aren't far from Julia. You bite your tongue, coming close to drawing blood. The pain is radiant and penetrating. How can you forget something like that? Seriously. We've got the safe open. Let's take a look inside. The safe houses an unkept pile of documents. Most of them seem to pertain to administrative minutiae. Much of it is presumably incriminating. Your fingers glide through the papers, hunting for something solid. After some sifting, your left index grazes a hunk of lightly rusted metal. You pull out the oddly shaped skeleton key. Let's try this on the locked door outside. Sure, let's hope the mechanism isn't too deformed. The door looked pretty warped. But before we go, let's keep looking through this safe. Vera seemed to think there was something really incriminating in here. Might be something that helps us deal with Julia. You fight through stacks after stacks of meaningless minutiae. Financial ledgers, medication inventories, nurse shift logs. None of it means anything. Eventually, you arrive at a stack of thick, rigid documents. The corners are hard and their sides sturdy. These look like certificates of some sort. Looks like meant to document instances of stillbirth. There must be some reason they wanted these confiscated. Let's flip through them. You comb through the stack looking for familiar names. One entry seems familiar. Paul Lohman. That's Wiggler's real name, right? But he wasn't stillborn. Neither were a lot of these kids, I'm guessing. Do you think what Vera was saying was right? They were faking stillbirths and stealing the kids? And Wiggler's one of these stolen kids? He thinks he's an orphan. I mean, how else would Paul Lohman also be the name of our guide? It does seem likely they're the same. I'm going to hold on this document. When we see Wiggly again, I think we need to tell him. It's none of your business. It might cause a bad reaction. But if you must, let's get that door open. I want to get further away from Julia. Okay. Another dead body by the looks of things. Quick scan of the room. The jagged outlines of a person rest beneath another rancid pile of soiled blankets, portions of an ivory neckline protruding. The door locks behind you. You can hear the lock cylinder sliding into place. That's not going to work. You aren't leaving this room until I say so. Oh no. I already knew it was her. Look at you, running around acting like you own the place. You're exhibiting clear and willful non-compliance. I'll remember that when you enter my cab. Let me out of here, you bitch. I don't like your tone, miss. In fact... You have in you. I'll be back in a few minutes with a gas mask. I recommend lying down. It'll make the transition feel a little smoother. Julia glides down the hall, escaping the field of view. Call it. We need to focus on finding a way out of here before the concentration of BZ gas gets too high. I don't know how much time we have. Why do you always tell me what to do? Why do I always listen? I tell you what to do because I'm protecting you. You listen because deep down you need to know it. Alright? If you were a little sharper and listened to me, we wouldn't be here. But I should know better than to count on you. I try to keep you safe, but you aren't good enough. I'm sorry. You won't tell me anything I don't already know deep down. You don't have to put up with this, Emily. You always have, but you don't have to. I don't. You turn and face the figure that spoke to you, despite the decrepit environment you feel an invitation called to join the figure. Don't talk to that thing. Stay away from it. It'll only make things worse. Why'd you never listen to what I say? This ivory figure, I think it likes you. I think you should join them, lay beside it. Please, Emily, how can you trust it? I can tell what it thinks of you. It thinks you're ugly. You need to keep looking for a way out of here. You rest your head next to the figure laying beneath the sheets. You're enveloped by the heat radiating through its perimeter. Such warmth. So many cold nights I spent in that elevator cabin. Maybe we should move in closer. In fact, I wouldn't mind wrapping up beside them. We can't waste precious body heat after all. Don't do it. If you get close, you might be tempted to touch them. You can never control yourself. We can't have that. Embrace the figure. You move close. You cannot help it. You wrap your arms around the section, almost resembling a torso. You nuzzle your head onto the figure's shoulder. Your heart starts palpitating, and you feel your left leg being drawn over the lump's lower section. The warmth begins to permeate your being. Then you hear it. The covered figure begins to speak. That feels nice, doesn't it? Yes, I've been waiting my whole life for this. I know. I bet it feels like more than your tears. I feel them hitting the sheets. I know every one of them by name. I feel the goosebumps in your skin. I am here. Why are you being so nice to me? No one's ever been nice to me. You're an orphan baby. The least anyone can do is be here. Be your cloth. That's all I am. That's all I can ever do for you. Just lay here with me in the warmth for a little while. The figure seems to shift only a little, and somehow it feels like it's returning your embrace. I'm being followed. I feel your pain, your unease. What's wrong? I'm being followed by a scary lady. I fell down an elevator shaft and I hit my head and broke my toe. And now you and this dead rat talking to me and... Shh, it's alright. No one's gonna get you in here. You're safe in this room. It doesn't know that for sure. Plenty of things could still get you. This thing could still get you. Can I join you under the sheets? No, Emily. I'm extremely deteriorated. It's best that you remember my body and face as I were. But I don't know your face, do I? You should, Emily. I was your caseworker. At least, I'm what's left of you. Emily, we have to get out of here. This is a fraud, a wire mother. We're in danger. Please, I beg you, get up right now and run. Run anywhere, scratch at the door until it yields. Consider suicide if you have to, anything. Jasper really doesn't like me, huh? I suppose it remembers who I am. I could never understand why you kept talking to that little doll, but now I know. Emily, get up. We have to go. You want something, it's to me. And text is too small for me to read. There. Now we can continue our conversation. Why does Jasper hate you so much? Jasper is just doing what he was born to do, protect you from the truth. Tell me, Emily, do you remember when I first gave Jasper to you? I don't remember. You have to, Emily. Please don't run away from it this time. I offered you a lot of stuffed animals to play with, but you only wanted the one shaped like a cat. Do you remember why? Why you would always want the one shaped like a cat? You can remember. Remember the reason you came into my care. Please don't do this. I failed you as a caseworker. The least I owe you is to make sure you understand your own past. So go on. Say what you did. Aloud. I killed my cat. Yes. You threw her down the well in your backyard. She drowned. After a few days, you confessed to your mum, Rosalind. A few days after that, she dropped you off with me. She never visited. She kept screaming after I threw her in. I can't get it out of my head. Then why did you do that? Why did it cause you such pain? What did you want? Was it getting hit? Is that too much to ask? Your life at home seemed very troubled. But Mum wasn't the one to throw the cat down the well, was she? It was 15 years ago. Every cell in my body's been replaced since then, right? Right? Your brain cells don't replace themselves so rapidly, I'm afraid. You might have been piloting a mostly different skin set, but the one calling the shots was still you. I could have just never thought about any of that stuff ever again. My life would have been fine. I already failed you once. This time I've done the right thing. The painful thing. You would become so upset when I tried to explain this to you. I liked you better quiet. I'd have been better off if you never told me. I didn't tell you anything you didn't already know. Nothing you didn't already feel. Do you really want to spend your whole life not accepting what really happened? Bring the doll out your pocket. Look at it. Take a good look at the brands in the world. Please. The knot and scars that should have formed around the brain splinter. Doesn't he feel less powerful now? Please, Jasmine, say something. It's screaming right now, trying to protect you from this truth, but I won't let it. Not this time. in the trash chute. You take one last good look at Jasper. His expression is tortured, a face that's screaming but completely mute. I wouldn't have made it without you, but it's time, Jasper. Return to the ivory. I got rid of Jasper. I'm alone now. I know it hurts. You have to learn how to live again. But you will learn in time. Finally cutting off Jasper, that's something to be proud of. You've come to me so many times that you've never been able to sever that cord until now. This is my first time here. This isn't your first visit, Emily. You've come to me many times before. Usually running away from Rosalind, or sometimes Julia, or one of the other nurses, but always, you're always getting bossed around by that doll. This is not your first time here. You've been a long time ago, right, when I was a kid? No, Emily. Not as a child. Time is fragmented, hard for me to discern, but always you look as you do now. The same age, the same hair. I've kept memories of you as a child scattered about. That is not what comes to visit. I don't see that as possible. You must be confused. Haven't you wondered how Julia got here, how she came to haunt these halls? You met her host, all up in the room she visited. Until Angela expires, Julia is trapped here. I'm afraid it's the same for you. No, I'm real. I remember getting here, crawling through the sewers with Wiggly the ferryman. I remember my life before. Some life before you got here. It's a little different every time, but you always think it was real. But this was the first time I've ever seen you get rid of that doll. How do I know if I'm real for sure? That woman bundled up in the bed across the hall. She's the one you came here to see. Mom? That Rosalind. I can't be certain, but I think she's your host. If you really want to know what you are, pay her a visit. So if I pull the plug on Mom and I'm still here, then I'm real? Yes, then you can know for sure. There's no switch in Rosalind's room, which is on the same circuits as Angela. The electrical wires are in sync with my nerves, I can feel it. Throw the switch in Angela's room and Rosalind will leave us. So will Angela, and so will Julie. So will I? Probably. It's the part where I tell you not to pull the plug usually. You complain and cry and get angry, but ultimately you always listen. I'm not doing that today. You finally managed to toss the moldy doll. It's time for you to decide this yourself. Do you know how rare having a real power of your life is? It's almost always an illusion in the same way as mine. Savor this. I won't waste this, I promise. My time here's nearly over, Emily. Conversing like this, it strains the remnants of my nervous system to the brink. I'm about to expire. I won't be around to comfort you during future visits, I'm sorry. Don't you know how... No, please, do you know how much I need you? My organs are failing, Emily. You have to find your own way. This life, and the next. I can do one final thing for you. I just disabled the magnets keeping the door locked. You should be able to leave now. It's the best I can do for you. You were owed so much more. Goodbye, Emily. The mechanical breathing that was filling the background has ceased. The warmth that attracted you to the mattress begins to dissipate. The ivory woman is gone. Wow. Holy shit. This game is fucked. Mum. Hey Mum, sorry I haven't visited. Will you take your hand back with me so I can claim your estate? Yeah, I'm being blunt, but I think you owe this to me. Look, for once this is my call and my call alone, not yours. Not the dumb doll's, mine. Mum won't talk to us. Yeah, I threw whiskers down the well. I'm not letting you hold it over me anymore. Of course I regret it, but I regret it for myself, not for you. I might just be a secretion of your dying diseased brain, but I can still accomplish one meaningful deed. Just in case I am real, there's still one thing you can do for me. You approach Mum and slip your hand under the covers, not daring to look. You feel the protrusions of ribs running underneath your fingertips. Your hand glides up to the shoulder blade and runs down the mossy remnants of the arm until you reach the hand. The skin above the wrist tears with almost no effort. The radial and ulnar joints disarticulate with a pop that vibrates your nerves. With one more quick yank, the entire hand shears off. Thanks for this, Mom. I'm going to throw the switch in Angela's room. Once that's done, the power in this room will go out too. I know what will happen. If I'm like Julia, then I'll be leaving too. Anyway, I've gotten what I need. Goodbye, Mom. What are you doing here? How'd you get out of the room? I knew I should have dealt with you sooner. Just thought it would be good to let you sputter on the ground for a few minutes. Julia rises to apprehend you, seemingly more out of sense of obligation than genuine spite. Angela isn't ever going to wake up. Neither are any of the kids you sent down here. Give up. You don't know that. Her heart is still beating. Parts of her brainstem are fully intact. She might wake up. She has to wake up. I can't leave until she wakes up. Why are you still here? If you're so confident in her recovery. Because I know what Rosalind does to these kids. I can't let Rosalind have her. I already let her have too much. Who are you to judge me? What should I have done? Pretend to love a kid I hated? Angela shouldn't have been born. Please stop. Please. Undo it. It never was. She never was. You loved Angela, didn't you? That little parasite destroyed my body, destroyed my career. I resent her. I never wanted her inside me. I never wanted a child. I shouldn't have a child. It wasn't my choice. Please leave me alone. No, you don't deserve to be left alone. Rosalind's team was supposed to take care of her. They said they would. She cried and cried when they took her away, but it was for her own good. It's their fault I had to carry her in the first place. They just wouldn't let me get rid of her. Maybe what happened to Angela wasn't your fault. What about all the kids you helped Dr. Tan steal? Rosalind is doing important work in the Corps. She needs subjects. The amount of good she can do if she pulls this off. To make these women faint. Do you know what kind of person ends up in this hospital that couldn't support another child? All the pregnant women I treated only convinced themselves they wanted their child because they had no other options. At the end of the day, a lot of mothers had their children stolen and killed because of you. Julia heard you. She's staring past you now. She's quiet and solemn. Several agonizing moments of silence rise and fall. Suddenly, violently, the tension is shattered and Julia looks right at you. There must be some way to undo it. Go back to the way things were before. Tell me how to undo it. You can't undo it. You have to accept what happened. That's it, then? Nothing I can do will ever change it? It's too late to correct the damage even partially. You can't even ask forgiveness. The past is washed away by present. It only continues to linger because you haven't accepted your guilt. It hasn't been washed away. I still feel it. I feel the pain I caused. I feel the hate and anguish these mothers took to their grave. Everyone just tells you to move on, but no one ever actually tells you how to do that. I can't stop thinking about it. I won't stop thinking about it. I don't deserve to stop thinking about it. Torturing yourself isn't going to undo what you did to Angela and all those kids. Undo. It's pointless, isn't it? She isn't going to wake up. There's never any hope of her waking up. The only thing you can do now is relieve her of her pain. Julia's gaze drifts. She's looking past you. For a few moments, you glance at the circuit breaker on her right. The gaze returns to you. If I flip the breaker, Angela's body will finally cease to function. So will I. You can end the pain. That's all I can do now. Do what you can now. That's all anyone can ask. Are you like me? When I pull the switch, what happens to you? I'm probably going to die, but right now I'm alive. That's all that matters. Can you talk me through it? I don't know what it will be like after I pull the switch after I'm gone. Keep one eye closed, one eye open. Focus on what the closed eye sees. It will help you ease into it. What a fucking roller coaster ride this became. Holy shit. What a story. Just great. You're back again. Just hopefully any better now you put a splint around it? Not really, it doesn't really look like a toe anymore. But for once, everything else is alright. For the first time I feel like I'm myself. No one else is pulling the strings. Glad to hear it. So, do you still feel like going deeper in the city? No, I got what I came for here. I'm honestly a little disappointed. It looks more beautiful than I remember. From here, at least. But I think it's best we leave it. Ah, I see. I guess you found her, huh? Yeah, she's wrapped up in one of the beds down there. Couldn't even see her face, but I knew who it was. I got what I needed from her. Well, I found something else down there too. Something you should see. What's this? It's my name on the paper. Certificate saying you were stillborn, issued to your parents. You weren't really an orphan, Paul. You and a lot of kids were stolen and trafficked, probably by Rosalind's other doctor named Tan. I don't really know how to feel about that. You should feel upset and angry and hurt. It's fine to feel that way. It took a lot away from you. Just move on. Don't let it ruin the life you have left. Can I have an hour or so alone? Just wait here. You'll be safe if you wait. wait here. I understand this is somewhat of an unprofessional request, but I need a bit of time to myself. This is difficult for me to understand. You have no practice standing up for yourself, do you? Take all the time you need. I'm not going in. But where are you going? I'm just curious. I have a room down in the boilers where I like to cry and smash bottles sometimes. I call it my sad place. It's got a lot of weird pipes and vents that are fun to crawl through. Usually it cheers me up. But this time... Yeah, sure. Go around down there. Go run around down there when you need to. I think I'll wait right here. I enjoy the view. Thanks. I'll be back before the skylight shut off. This view, it filled me with such life. Tears are flooding my eye sockets. Oh hey, I forgot I still had you with me. I've been trying to conserve the life I've been given. For this, it makes me swell. I'm being pulled home, this I can feel. Emily, I need you to throw me as far as you can. Just this tiny sliver of life left to give the world. I must give it all back before I leave. You want me to toss you off the roof into the floor? Yes. From there I can make it to the roof. You seem so gung-ho, so thrilled just to exist. The kids from the basement beat you to death, right? How can you live without resenting what they did to you? Some animate bits of organic matter were cruel to me. I harbour no resentment over it. Do you resent lightning for striking you? You hate your own babies. Do you not feel guilty or upset about that at least? I shouldn't have eaten my babies, but I can't undo it. Rats cannot travel through time. But I know how to live now. Every moment I live in harmony, I do right by them. In a few hours, this body and mind will die again, but I will never be dead. Every moment I have, I am. Alright, let's do this. Guess I can now try being alone. Absolutely fascinating game. In my opinion, a masterpiece. I thought this was phenomenal. Like, I enjoyed this so much. Charles, great game. Really good share. I just love it. I love it. It's a little short, but I didn't explore everything. And you definitely should consider checking this out yourself. Oh, what the fuck is this now? Hang on. We've got a dead rat in our inventory. Oh shit. You look down to find a familiar purple lump clinging to the ground. It's Jasper. Oh, we're playing as him now. Jasper, how'd you get here, I wonder? This is my sad place. I come here to break bottles and cry. Yeah, my whole life turned out to be a lie. I'm not taking it very well. I feel resentment, I feel hurt. They took so much away from me. You're such a pretty doll. You deserve better than to rot on the floor of this boiler room forever. Guess Jasper is coming with us. Here we are. This is where you'll be staying forever, I think. Not as smart as a lot of people who worked here or some of the people who came through here, but I can see some things clearly. Even when we're just walking through the halls or sitting alone in the boilers, I can feel you worming into me. I feel bad, but I still have time left. I have life. It's a lot more than many people ever got, you know? It's more than most people have right now. Most people are dead forever. Some people didn't treat me kindly, but I'm not going to let that take away for the rest of what I have. And I'm not going to let you take it away either. I brought you here because I'm nice. I thought it seemed like a good spot to rest. I know you mean well, but you aren't coming with me. Amelie's better off without you too. I have a client to get home. She might be my last. I hope she's still waiting for me. Goodbye, Jasper. Just a masterpiece. It's a little... I would say it's a little short for the price, but in my opinion, it actually... In my opinion, it's completely worth it. I think this is really good. I want to urge everyone to pick this up if they can. It's just a phenomenal piece of writing, a piece of horror fiction. The descriptions are so disturbing, the game is so disturbing, the story is great. I'm sure there's lots of little details. I know for a fact there's actually interactable stuff in the backgrounds that I missed, like Easter eggs and stuff that I think would be worth playing perhaps to find. But absolutely fantastic game. One of my favourites of the year, coming in right at the end of the year. It's definitely up there for me with Bone Totems. I enjoyed it immeasurably. So yeah, that was Sons of Saturn. Make sure you check it out, guys. Link in the description. It's just so good. Holy shit, I can't put into words how good this is. One more thing. you enjoy the long plays, you enjoy this content, consider pledging to our Patreon. We rely on you guys in order to keep making content here on YouTube. So please consider helping us out. Throw a few dollars our way. Link in the description, you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful nomkins. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.